Ever wondered what Minecraft's limit is? Today we'll discover the best farms ever created, the world records of Minecraft farms. Trust me, you won't find these unique mechanics in other videos. These farms are huge, and I'm sure we've all started in Minecraft with an iron or experience farm. Things that take their time but are pretty simple. I'll show you that Minecraft is more than a game. It's a platform for industrial engineering with blocks. A means by which people with a lot of knowledge share their wisdom to build truly insane things. This idea came to me while searching for a frog light or frog lamp farm, the same one I built in my last survival episode. You already know that from time to time I go on Bilibili to look for Chinese farms, because the Chinese are really at the forefront of this. Before I found that farm, I saw recommended videos of mob farms, tree farms, and more, but one especially caught my attention. And that's Malibu's farm. Nether wood works for both types of wood and was created by N. Collier, producing about 427,000 items per hour. The system is like that of any wood farm, FK plants. Here the mushroom is the sapling. Once grown, pistons move it. The interesting thing about this farm is that it is self-sustaining, since it has an integrated mushroom farm that is also self-sustaining. Let me explain. This mushroom farm uses bone meal and ground movement. The materials generated will be divided into mushrooms and weeds. Weeds will be composted into bone meal, while mushrooms will be dispensed to the player. The bone meal will be split between the mushroom and wood farms, so the player won't need to refill the farm with bone meal. It's all completely automatic. Let's go to the world record for the Cobblestone farm, created by QQDT. This farm produces around 5.2 million items per hour. That's crazy, it's designed for newer versions. 1.21.2, so it's very current. It uses a trinitrotoluene duper at 3 ticks with trajectory control. That is, they're launched toward a water block 1 tick before they explode. So they break blocks, but not the items they drop. Let's discuss this mechanic where trinitrotoluene exploding in water doesn't break nearby items. They added it in 1.21.2, and after that the community complained a lot because they made farms like this, really absurd ones, where you could spam trinitrotoluene. I think it was every game tick and nothing happened. You would just break everything and the items would always drop. So the community thought this was way too broken, and they put a lot of pressure on Mojang to remove it because it took away the fun from the farm mechanics, and it's something they've removed in the current versions. So use it in 1.21.2, and if you still don't get how big this farm is, it fills up your inventory in 1.5 seconds. I mean, in a second and a half, it's crazy. You can get the same result without the trinitrotoluene trick. It's called wet trinitrotoluene, but it would be much more expensive. Now let's go to the Obsidian farm, the best one so far. White MC designed it for version 1.21 and up, and it produces 648,000 items per hour. Obsidian doesn't explode with trinitrotoluene, so you'll need a wither to get it. Well, this farm has 18 with 3 withers for each block 1 by 1. And how does it generate obsidian? Well, it's simple, with a tripwire duper that constantly loads the Nether portal. This makes a new one generate every time the wither breaks it. And since there are 18 withers, 18 portals are generated. And that's why the farm gives so many drops. The best part is, he's making great progress with obsidian farms, and will build an even bigger one in a few months. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's now explain a type of farm with a mechanism that can be implemented in most farms that have mob drops. In this case, we'll do it directly with a mob farm. This mechanism is called end of light, and basically works like this. You create a platform at the minimum height with a 1 by 1 portal block. How do you get it? Well, with update suppressors and update skippers, which we've already explained several times on the channel, but briefly, it's a way to lag the game so it doesn't update. This will make it so that when we break the portal after placing a trapdoor with a rail on top, only the lowest portal block will remain. Repeating this can build a platform of portal blocks, but this method no longer works. This is from older versions, but it was used a lot and is still used a lot by people who keep playing on those versions. And we're going to do it at the minimum height for the following reason. In Minecraft, as the height for mob spawning increases, the chance of spawning decreases. To prevent that, we'll lower the probability to the lowest level, making it 50%. With 2 layers, probability drops to 33%, with 25%, with 4, 20%, and continues decreasing as layers increase. With 1 layer, the game is more likely to generate a mob. Now simply, those mobs, once they spawn, are instantly teleported to the Nether, since the only place they can spawn is directly on the portal blocks and in the Nether. They just die from falling, producing 3.1 million items each hour. Wild, right? By the way, the good thing about them being teleported instantly is that Minecraft has a limit on how many mobs there can be. I think it's 70, what is often called mob cap, and if the mob disappears instantly, that mob cap empties very quickly so they can keep spawning. Did Victor 40 create this concept of the end of light on this farm? You need to understand this, as all large mob farms now work this way. Well, I say now, but I don't mean the current versions. I mean most technical servers. Now let's discuss the concrete duper, the world's top generator. About 576,000 hardened blocks. The process of hardening them is new in 1.21. When they reach the end and touch waterlogged leaves, they become hardened blocks and drop as items. This way, you don't have to do it manually. How they reach the end is more complex, so I'll keep it brief. When concrete, sand, or gravel are moved by pistons, they become entities that can be pushed by trinitrotoluene. The movement is so fast that the game glitches. It sends blocks to the end without removing them from the overworld. Making trinitrotoluene better at pushing blocks will send even more to the end. Now I'll show you the wood farm with the world record for production. It's a monster that produces 1.08 million items per hour. Although it's for version 1.12.2, it's from just over a month ago. It was built by the Bullet Survival multiplayer server, where Poisson participates, one of the members, who gave us the tour of Daged and also helped us make this video. It produces jungle wood with 2x2 trees, which are much harder to chop and automate. Farms. But they force the tree to grow only 31 blocks, which is enough for the farm's needs. And how do they force the tree? In this version, there's a machine we won't discuss because it's a bit complex, but they manage to modify the random number generator, which is the random number generator of the game. Inside the game, they're not hacking from the outside, but from within the game itself. They force the tree to grow 31 blocks and to give them the necessary saplings to be able to feed the system back. This is essential for the farm to function. I'm saying this to warn you to be cautious if you plan to build it. And the thing about the saplings is important. The saplings, because just so you get an idea, it produces 45,000 saplings, and they only use 36,000, so they have more than enough. By the way, about the random number generator I mentioned, this has been around for many years, and some servers have even used it. So when you mine diamond with fortune, you always get the most diamonds possible. It works with anything needing randomness. On this farm, withers break log blocks instead of a trinitrotoluene chamber. Withers shoot projectiles when damaged and explode the area if there's not enough space. If we occasionally suffocate the wither and put wood beneath it, the wither will break the wood as hoppers collect it. It's a shame that this farm is for older versions. Honestly, it's very useful for producing so much wood. Next, let's discuss another world record, this one for Guardians. For 6 years, it's remained the top producer at 1.8 million drops per hour. And since it's not built by Nenbum, the mechanics are pretty simple. Guardians actually spawn in soul sand currents that raise them to nether portals. Interestingly, this is the most efficient way to clear them from the mob cap for new Guardians to spawn. It takes an average of 18 ticks, which is less than a second. In the Nether, the Guardians survive a weakening fall and are physically moved by entity friction to the killing area where a player with looting 3 awaits them. The only downside is that in current versions its efficiency drops slightly, though it's still good. Above all, it works in earlier versions up to 1.15, which I'll discuss now. It uses this end-of-light concept that I explained to you before, and it's the gold farm that has to be built at the world border. This last part must have made you curious, so I'll explain it quickly. The overworld, the normal world, has its limit at 30 million blocks, and the Nether also has 30 million blocks. But keep in mind that the coordinates in the Nether are 8 times smaller than in the overworld. That means if we make a portal at the world border in the normal world, we end up at coordinates 3.75 million in the Nether. So what happens if we make a portal in the Nether at coordinates 4 million? Would coordinate 32 million put us outside the world border? No, obviously not. It takes us to the same portal that's at coordinate 30 million, which is at the edge of the map. This means that all portals beyond 3.75 million blocks in the Nether will take you to the portal at the edge of the overworld in the normal world. I hope that was clear. This matters because a farm needs portals, especially with the end of light concept. It's a lifesaver since all mobs use the same portal, which is great. However, the killing area is different here. It's not just a drop, it's a trinitrotoluene cannon triggered by a fire arrow, which stays until you unload the chunks. Equipping a looting 3 sword while placing trinitrotoluene can yield about 5 million gold nuggets. We saw this killing system recently on a tour, so I recommend you check out the tours I'm doing on servers. This way, you can learn more details about these things. Also, reaching 30 million blocks is very challenging. In this case, they used a pig cannon, which is something we also saw in. I think it was during Dagged's tour. I can't recall which one, but it'll be on the screen. I've done 2 lately, not just Dagged's, but also Eternums. And actually, speaking of Eternum, let me tell you about a farm you might recognize from the tour. The Creeper Farm produces the most gunpowder, about 3.5 million per hour. The farm itself is explained in the tour, so I'm not going to go on too much with the explanation. But basically, the creepers spawn on a 2-block high floor with trapdoors and blocks to force the other mobs not to spawn. These blocks have to be leaves with water inside so you can place sea pickles on top, which give the exact height to put a boat on top. This way, the creeper immediately enters the Nether portal upon spawning and dies there, just like in the gold farm. A fire arrow triggers TNTs and sends them to the portal where they're generated. The creepers, the important thing here is that the creeper teleports instantly. Curiously, we've reached a point on YouTube where if I make a mistake while speaking, I prefer not to repeat it. I've been seeing mostly artificial intelligence, made channels with artificial intelligence voices lately, and it's really annoying. So let this be clear to you so you know you're not watching a video made by artificial intelligence because they really annoy me. This farm will blow your mind, literally, since it doesn't use end of light, but has much more creative mechanics. It's not designed by Fallenbread. You've likely heard me mention him. He's outstanding. This wither farm produces 150 wither skulls per minute, not per hour. Do you realize how crazy this is? Let me explain. It uses update suppressors, which you already know. We'll remove the ground where we planted the wither roses and replace it with another solid block. This way, the only mob that can spawn will be the wither skeleton. And now comes the mechanic that blew my mind. The wither skeletons are picked up by minecarts, and it seems simple, but this makes them disappear from the mob cap. So many more wither skeletons can spawn even while they're still alive. The ones inside the minecarts, it's incredible. But of course, once they get out of the minecart, they count towards the mob cap again. Well, there's something planned for that too. A pumpkin is dropped for them, so that if they have the pick up loot mechanic, it gets placed on their head. And that way they disappear from the mob cap again. This makes 55% of them disappear from the mob cap. It's very clever. Afterward, they're moved by conveyors to minimize their survival time, all falling via a down acceleration mechanism to the same killing point. Still not satisfied, a trinitrotoluene will damage them before they fall, leaving them with low health. You'll be there with an away from keyboard auto clicker, hitting an armor stand with sweeping edge and looting 3, just waiting to kill them all as they fall. This farm is ultra mega efficient. I mean, it produces about 9,000 wither heads every hour. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why you'd need so many, but it's definitely the most efficient. It's one of the most productive farms I've seen. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like for more. See you next time. Goodbye.